Majority of the time, a lot of these dentists want to either scale back, number one, or fully retire. Up to date, I would say about 75% of our business is staffing and placing. There is a gap and there's an immediate need for hygienists, and we've seen that nationally.
All right. Good afternoon, Wealthy Dentist podcast community. We have a bit of a twist for you today. We have Christopher Hinonosa. We've been knowing each other for a couple of years now, and I finally tackled him and brought him on, and he's going to give you some information on the business that he does. He's in the M&A space, but he's more or less looking to or doing staffing and recruiting at this point in the business that he created called Dentex. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Chris in. He can tell you more about it than I can. Chris, how you doing today, man?
Hey, Ward, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
We're doing great. I'm glad I got a chance to corral you inside the Wealthy Dentist podcast space so that you can help our community, man. I'm glad to have you today.
Well, yeah, a pleasure. I know that this has been some time where, like you mentioned, trying to tackle me down and get in contact with me to be on this podcast, but super excited for what you're doing and really excited to be a part of it.
So tell me, I know prior to getting into the dental space, you did a little something else. So tell us about this health thing that you were doing.
So totally different from dentistry. Launched a juice concept, very similar to we can call it Jamba Juice. We did the cold pressed juice, acai bowls, superfood smoothies. Did extremely well. We grew that brand to 14 locations in a little less than 2 years. Awesome. It was definitely exciting. Had the opportunity of exiting out of that company, which I did. Full transparency, blessing in disguise. 2 months later, COVID happened. So I was able to unload, the company, do that. And of course, not knowing what the future was holding, COVID happened and took some time away, spent some time with the kids and really just figure out what my next move was going to be. So at that time, had my resume out there. And really just looking at had the opportunity of joining a emerging DSO at the time, private equity-backed DSO, leading their M&A department throughout Texas and Colorado. Mm-hmm. So did that for about 2 years. Exciting, learned a lot in dentistry, and then got approached by a venture capital firm out of New York, looking to expand their corporate development services for their pre-seed and Series A companies that they invested in. So did that for about 1.5 years. And then honestly, just my heart, just coming into dentistry was the relationship building with dentists, understanding their needs and their wants and really leading and driving their efforts to transacting their practice to either a DSO or single practice doctor to doctor sale. So at that time I said, let me get in contact with a business partner of mine and really just put our expertise to what we've brought into the market itself and launched Dentex Strategies. So our original vision behind it was strictly M&A, working with dentists, guiding them through the process, leading their efforts through the due diligence process, from selling their practice once again to private equity, DSOs, group practices, or even doctor to doctor sales. And then we begin to realize that as we're approaching these dental practices, a lot of times, and I wouldn't say all of the time, but majority of the time, a lot of these dentists want to either scale back, number one, or fully retire. So in order for us to take their practice to market and make it more appealing, these DSOs are looking for the stability of the practice. And as these owner doctors were coming in, leading their dental practice, they were the producers behind it, right? So now you're scaling back, you're taking a day off, 2 days off, and now you're losing that revenue. And that has an effect on the bottom line EBITDA by not having, once again, that revenue of what the original practice was doing. So we said, look, let's get into the staffing and placing side. So we worked a lot with dentists looking to transact and then now looking for replacement so that we can bring in some associates to come in and really fill in that gap with the revenue, especially if these owner doctors wanted to scale back. So up to date, I would say about 75% of our business is staffing and placing. We work a lot with single practices. We work with DSOs, FQHCs, group practices that will retain us to come in and bring on associates, specialists, hygienists, front office, back office support. At times we're retained by DSOs looking for their new CDOs, CFOs, C-level executives. So really all verticals of what a dental organization need, we can come in and staff in place.
Wow, sounds real busy. With the I was at Midwinter yesterday. Wanted to go back today, but I know I had a couple things to do here, plus to see you. I talked to a few dentists, and both of them said the same exact thing. They can't find any hygienists. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I think a lot's changed after COVID. At that time, quite frankly, for lack of better words, hygienists, they didn't want to go to school during, the pandemic. People were afraid of getting in people's mouths. It's just the honest truth. So there was a gap between, hygienists graduating, 2, 3 years after. The hygienists that were working at practices, they took on more of, roles on the sell side. So now you have hygienists that are taking sell side roles with these larger manufacturers, distributors, in dental, and they're offering them great salary plus commission and bonuses. So there is a gap, and there's an immediate need for hygienists, and we've seen that nationally. We have clients Hawaii, we have clients up in Connecticut, and they're all dealing with the same issues. It's where are the hygienists? Where can we find them? How do we make it more exciting for them? How do we make it more appealing for them to come and look at our practice? So now you have, these groups and dental practices that are offering aggressive sign-on bonuses, offering, percentages of production, even for the hygienists, just to make it appealing and keeping them on board.
And so has that been working?
It has, and our clients and our recruiters, when they're speaking with them, we want to make sure that we're fully transparent with the approach that we take with looking for in this case a hygienist. What is the market calling for? How do we go into market by being aggressive and really putting our best foot forward with these offerings that we're able to offer these hygienists to join practices that are brought on by us.
Oh man, wow! Because I'm finding it, yeah, definitely. That's a hard pill to swallow. But out of the other verticals, what are you finding that the most challenging? I mean, I don't know if that's a problem with the same problem with the associates or not. So you tell me. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think associates for sure. I think especially in these rural areas, you have a lot of dental practice that target more of the rural parts of the states. So you have these associates that are just so used to living in these larger metropolitan areas, and it's very hard for these dental practices to compete with dentists that are living in the city. Number one, they don't want to commute. Number two, they might be getting paid the same amount working at a dental practice that maybe is 10, 15 minutes away from their house. Why would they want to commute an extra 45 minutes to an hour making the same amount of money? So this really goes back to the creative side of how do we make this opportunity more appealing? Mm-hmm. Sign-on bonuses, sometimes equity, aggressive, daily guarantees. We see daily guarantees upwards of, for general dentists, $1,200 to $1,300 a day. So they have to understand that, especially if they're in these rural areas, they have to come in very aggressive.
Wow, it's a lot of competition out there. It really seemed to be a desert out there for a lot of people.
And the struggle, aside from the single practices, I mean, of course, DSOs, but FQHCs, I would say 75% of FQHCs are in these rural areas. So that is where the struggle is, are finding associates willing to come in, joining an FQHC, making a base salary and being able to commute that extra 45 minutes an hour, every morning. So we see FQHCs now offering corporate cars. They offer, per diems where, they'll stick them out at a hotel in the area for 4 days where they're working clinical 4 days. And then, on their day 5, they're maybe doing some admin work or computer work that they can be back at home and kind of manage that on the front end. But once again, it's a very aggressive market across the board.
All right. So where are you finding that where you do see like a bump up in any of those verticals where you're actually like, this is not a problem, but we've talked about a few of what may be problems for some recruiters or even some, solo companies and DSOs for that matter, where you find it, where you're getting a lot of people that are coming in and asking, I need a job.
So once again, referring back to the associates, larger metropolitan areas, easy commute for associates.
Okay.
As far as, these larger cities, you attract, dentists that you can go out and say, hey, we have this great opportunity that is 15 minutes away from your home. There's not going to be much of an adjustment based on your personal life, from housing relocation to maybe moving your kids away from school. These larger cities tend to be a lot easier fills, but more of the challenging side. And one of the reasons why dentists bring us on is because, it's hard for them to go out and fill these rural areas. So they bring us our expertise, our technology that we're able to utilize in order to attract top tier talent.
What type of technology is used to create a stable, if you will, of various verticals that you have to bring in and fill?
Sure. We do our just general marketing from job boards to, social media. But what really sets us apart is AI technology. We've invested highly into AI technology, which I think just, the world in general is kind of, directing themselves to. But AI technology allows us to source candidates a lot differently, not to give away our secret sauce, but, the AI technology has really set us apart from competitors to attract talent by candidates that maybe work, that live in their current area. Now it's a matter of us reaching out to them by saying, hey, doctor, we have a great opportunity in your area. Once again, that area could be where they reside, where they work. Are you open to listening or, just understanding the new opportunity that we have brought on by our client? And our recruiters are out there now selling the opportunity to them. So it's really a hands-on experience from day one when our clients are bringing us on and providing that white glove service from start to finish.
When you were putting this group together, Chris, and I know you said you were initially thinking of M&A, what made you pivot? Why did you think that
Sure. As I mentioned, the original vision behind Dentex Strategies was M&A brokerage.
Yeah.
As we were approaching, dentists and discussing, opportunity, once again, we understood that, the sole purpose of being able to transact your practice itself is finding the right associate for your practice. So we started that purpose of directing our efforts to the recruiting side to fill in those gaps, for these dental practices. And once again, it's not necessarily these dentists want to sell their practice. It could really just be, hey, I just want more time to myself. I want to spend more time with my family. I need to bring on another associate to fill in those gaps on my off days that I want to be able to enjoy life and travel and have a personal life outside of dentistry.
Oh, now that's interesting. When you're doing your work with matching an associate to a dental office, what is the process? Do you go in and you interview aside from interviewing the associate, do you actually go in and do a walkthrough and talk to the dentist that's looking for this new associate?
We do. So yeah, first step is we conduct a discovery call. We really want to identify the type of associate this specific practice is looking for. We might have an associate that says, hey, Chris, I'm looking for an associate that's experienced in all on fours, all on X, maybe an associate that's experienced in endo. Those are the type of candidates that we're strictly going to source and present over to our client. We might have a client that comes to us and says, hey, Chris, I want somebody at very minimum of 5 years experience. Those are the type of candidates that we're strictly going to source. So yes, to answer your question, we go through a full vetting process first and foremost to identify not only qualifications, not only specifications. We want to discuss compensation. We also want to discuss the culture behind the practice. We want to make sure that it's going to be a good fit for not only our client, but also the associate that we're bringing on. We don't do any locum, we don't do any temps. Our sole purpose is coming in here, finding an associate that is willing to be with you long term, be that permanent placement, and grow with your practice long term.
Yeah. Is there some type of psychological evaluation that you do with the associates before you bring them in? Because
We do, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do. So we have some tests that we'll send out. Really just try to understand from emotional testing
Yeah.
to the psychological side of
Right.
it,
Exactly.
because it is important. We don't want this A type of personality coming in with an owner dentist where they're just bumping heads,
Right.
day in and day out. So we vet them fully, ensuring that this is going to be a match. Aside from our process, we offer it's a 1-year guarantee. So once a client comes in, retains us to go out and do a search, we'll offer a 365 calendar day guarantee for our client. So from the moment that client finds their associate, that associate starts at day one. 365 days start clicking. And for any reason, that could be just not a good fit. Maybe the associate is bumping heads with the rest of the staff, upper management. Maybe it's chairside manner. God forbid, maybe the associate gets into an accident where they just can't practice anymore. Whatever the case is, 365 days, we start the process all over again and start vetting other candidates and presenting them out to them.
At no extra cost, or
At no extra cost. And that goes for associates, hygienists, office managers, front office, back office support. See, that's just across our board. So once again, I think that's what sets us apart from other organizations is our aggressiveness to the replacement guarantee. Because you don't really understand the type, and I'm going to use an associate as an example, the type of person, they are probably going into month 3, 4, and 5.
right.
So it's hard, for somebody to come in and say, yeah, but this is the right one. I met with them 2 meetings, 3 meetings. They're great first 30 days, but a lot of things start surfacing after 90 to 120 days. That's in any relationship, right? Marriage,
Right.
boyfriend, girlfriend. It's it's a guarantee that we offer. We want to ensure that our clients, first and foremost, are satisfied with us. And of course, their investment is secure.
So how many's on your team? Tell us a little bit more about
Excuse
that.
me. Sure. So we currently have 12 employees. So we have our executive team. It's myself and my business partner. We have our VP of recruiting and marketing. We have our directors of recruiting, and then we have our recruiting specialists underneath. And then we also have a partnership with an M&A department that also assists us with the valuation side of it, the underwriting process as well, that will lead those efforts for the M&A department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No wonder it took me so long to get you on this show, man. It's
Well, aside from running the business, I know you keep up with me on social media
yeah,
and raising 4 kids.
right,
It's
exactly.
raising 4 kids and running the business.
Yeah,
But super excited to be here
yeah.
and sorry ahead of time that I've delayed for the past year and a half, 2 years. So
Well, that's great, man. I'm glad. This is some interesting information. So, if somebody wanted to contact you and ask you some questions, what are you finding that some of the most important things that they find important to them, right?
sure.
What is that conversation like?
Yeah, and once again, this goes back to the relationship part of our clients. Our relationship has been built on. I'm sorry, our business has been built on relationship and referrals. we want to be upfront and very transparent, initially on our sales call. So, we'll reach out, doctors will reach out to us, and, we want to ask them, what is your time frame for this fill? If they say, hey, Chris, we need to have an immediate need by filling this here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, as much as we'd love to earn your business, we're just not the right firm for you. We once again, take our time, find the right candidate, take a deeper dive into those needs and those wants within that specific associate. And you have to understand that this is going to be a lengthy process, ensuring that we do find the right candidate. So to answer your question, that is always, I think, the first question that does arise. What is the time frame? How fast can I find an associate? How fast can I find a hygienist? How fast can I find an RDA or a treatment coordinator? So it's getting them to understand that is going to be the hurdle by taking the time and ensuring that we're finding the right one and not just bandaging any associate to come in and fill that gap.
Which makes a whole lot of sense. So, but what have you found to be your average in terms of hygienists when you want to?
So with hygienists currently right now, anywhere of 60 to 120 days. Going back to the AI technology that we've invested into sourcing candidates, part of that is sourcing candidates that are currently employed. So with respect to their current employer, with respect to offering them a 2-week, 3-week notice, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah. But in some cases, we might have associates that want to relocate that are ready for an immediate need. We recently filled a hygienist fill out in Hawaii, where this candidate lived out in Pennsylvania and her husband got stationed out in Hawaii, and she was like, I need a job immediately. She was a hygienist, filled that within 30 days. So it's a one-off base where we're going to do our work. We're going to put, once again, our best foot forward in ensuring that we find the right candidate. And sometimes, we find the candidates that just land on our desk that are ready to go. And in some cases, we really have to go out and vet and find and ensuring that we're going to find that right candidate for our client.
What would you say has been your most challenging hurdle as an entrepreneur for all these years? What is you can pick one. You've been doing a whole lot of work.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I probably say this, and I say this openly. It's work-life balance. That has always been the biggest thing for me personally, is work-life balance. When you're running your business, you're running your business as you're running it 20 hours a day. So being able to running your business, running your company, having your personal life, spending time with the kids has always been a challenge for me. I've gotten a lot better. But once again, it's definitely a challenge for me because, as an entrepreneur, your mind is always running. What can you do, to improve your business? What can you do to outbeat the competitors? What can you do to make your clients satisfied? So there's a lot of things that go into it. But yes, to answer your question, it's always work-life balance, from the juice business to now running this consulting firm.
So then let's do the flip side of that, because I don't know whether it was when you sold it. Well, I could definitely say selling it before COVID was low.
Yeah,
My God, it had to be a high.
it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So tell me, was there anything else aside from that that kind of like say, oh man, let's try this again. Let's try to work it this way now. What are your thoughts?
We're always learning. As entrepreneurs, we're always learning from our mistakes. How can we make and how can we improve our processes? There's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that I've learned from the dental industry that I was able to bring on to now the consulting firm. But yeah, I mean, you take it for what it's worth. You take it day by day. That's really the honest truth with business and running your business, and ensuring once again that you're just providing good services, to your clients, and really just satisfying not only our clients' needs, but also the needs of finding the person looking for their next job and their next home.
Hmm. Okay, so now, Chris, you're in front of a bunch of yearlings, and they're trying to do what you do. What would you tell them?
Yeah, first and foremost, I would say, work-life balance is always important. So being able to manage that first, and understanding, what direction you want to take with whatever business you're in. Always be patient. You're not going to make your first million the first year, but be patient. Take your time. Treat people right. Treat people with respect, and that goes a long way in business. I'm very faithful, and always just, being, in full faith with, whatever I do in business. And once again, just treating people right. And it goes a long way.
Should I go out and buy that Mercedes? My first check.
Definitely not. That was probably my, first mistake. Starting my first business, I was, 25 years old and said, hey, I'm going to go out and, travel and buy this and buy that. And, but hey, you know what? It definitely, made me. I learned from those mistakes and experiences. But, these are things that, I took as an experience to be able to teach. And for people that come to me asking me for advice, it's always going to be my first thing is don't go out and buy your first $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 car off your first. Take your time, save it, invest into the business itself, invest into the people, which are your employees, and that goes a long way.
Absolutely. You definitely got to invest in the team. No question about it. Is
Yeah.
there anything that we missed, man, that you'd like to share with us?
No, if anybody's listening and have any needs for dental staffing, they can visit us on our website. It's dentexstrategies.com.
All right. And if anybody want to talk to you and ask any questions of you, they do the same thing or do?
Yeah, they can go onto our website. There's a 1866 number there at the bottom attached to our website. They can call that, get in contact with me, and then we can further that discussion, whether it's staffing and placing or the M&A transaction side. We can assist on both fronts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy you got a chance to come in and speak with us about Dentex and the Dentex strategies and what you're currently doing, man, is awesome. Very needed, very much needed, because again, I spoke to several people yesterday and they were talking about what they need. So I'm gonna have to steer. I know at least one of them out of Detroit to you.
No, let's continue that conversation offline, and
Yeah.
definitely excited to be a part of the Wealthy Dentist podcast. And once again, sorry for delaying over a year. I'll take full responsibility on that. But super excited for what you're doing, Ward, and super proud of you first and foremost.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for joining us, Chris. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Ward.
The Wealthy Dentist podcast is built on connections, opportunities, and meaningful conversations that help jumpstart careers and boost the ROI on your business. Is there a topic you're passionate about or someone in the dental community who should share their story with us? We want to hear from you. Email your suggestions to the Wealthy Dentist Podcast at gmail.com, and let's create content that informs, inspires, and uplifts the dental world. Your ideas could spark our next big conversation. Let's make it happen. I'm Ward Powell, your host at the Wealthy Dentist Podcast, thanking you for being a part of our journey.